Blake, Albert shared several initiatives from the federal level that are helping shape CTE and career pathways. I know you've experienced some important state level investments recently in Kansas, as well as some policy changes. Tell us about those.
Well, thank you, Hope, and it is great to be here and share some of what's going on in Kansas and perhaps some of our efforts and successes as we've looked at implementing programs of study and career pathways. Really one of the most significant pieces of legislation that we've had occur that's really highlighted the value of career and technical education and really served as what I would say is a super connector that connects secondary and post-secondary career and technical education programs has been Senate Bill 155. And that was led by our Governor, Sam Brownback, who really looked at our workforce needs and really the ability for career and technical education programs and high quality programs of study to really help fulfill the needs of Kansas and provide a real boost to our economic development. It was really, the legislation was passed at a time as we were coming out of a really tough recession, and so it was very timely. It's really relatively simple in terms of the components. Every junior or senior in high school can enroll in post-secondary career and technical education programs in an approved program, and they receive free college tuition for that. So a junior or senior doesn't pay any cost of tuition as they enroll in those programs, and that's really opened up post-secondary education for many, many students. Along with that, there's an incentive for students and for school districts actually to ensure completion of those programs at least at the level of the first stackable certificate. And so as we've looked at programs, we've identified some of those programs that are in high demand and actually a partnership with our Department of Labor in Kansas. We identified those high demand areas, and if a student receives an industry credential while they're in the program, the district actually, the sending district receives $1,000 for that student. So really just a great incentive to ensure participation in the program. And as you can imagine, the first year is always many implementation issues as we began the program, but we do see a lot of growth and expect quite a bit of growth.
Fabulous.
Within that legislation, our high schools are studying how to have an individual plan of study for every student. So we see that, Albert, in terms of the programs of study framework, that guidance and counseling piece is going to be a real game changer for a lot of students and really get them engaged in that process. And then I think as my second point as we move beyond that would be to really highlight the value of partnerships that we've had between our agencies at the state level and really at the local level as well. And in Kansas, what we've seen is that partnerships are typically started by really good people that really have a desire to reach out across lines and really, partnerships not always happen naturally, in a little unnatural way between agencies. So what we've done is we've seen that those people that have started those, that's been really good, but it's been a hard time sustaining them. And as you know, ongoing relationships is part of programs of study that's so important. Sure. So we've created a structural tie between agencies. We have a joint position between our Kansas Department of Commerce, which houses our workforce investment programs and also is the economic development agent of the state, with our Kansas Board of Regents, and we've had that since 2004. We also have a joint position between the Kansas Department of Commerce and Kansas Department of Labor. So they have the information in terms of high need and high demand jobs within our state. And we really feel like those joint positions and jointly funded efforts really connect our agencies and really hold us accountable to ensure that our career and technical education programs really tie to the needs of the Kansas economy. And then finally, and my last point would just be to highlight the Accelerating Opportunity Initiative that we actually have a similar initiative with Illinois, who's part of this as well. It's an initiative that's patterned after the IBEST model in Washington State, where we integrate an adult basic education instructor with a post-secondary career in technical education, so have some team teaching in our programs. And what we've seen is a real value to our adult education students because they're co-enrolled in post-secondary career and technical education courses. So they not only receive a GED, which we think is a valuable credential as they exit the program, but they also receive a high-demand, stackable, industry-recognized credential in addition to an academic award, which really puts that adult on a continuum of higher education, and we really think is going to allow people to fully participate in our Kansas economy.
Which really ultimately is what makes the difference. Great. Thank you so much, Blake, for setting the stage for what's going on in Kansas.